And just a little reminder, we do have merch for Speedromizer. Speedromizer now has a shop that is open all year round. Everything from shirts and hats to novelty items including mugs, stickers, bags, coasters, even more bags, and even pillows. All with the designs you have come to know over the past 4, now 5 events. 20% of every item sold will be paid directly to Speedromizer and QMUNITY. Get your hands on some fresh Speedromizer branded merchandise and head over to speedromizer.live/merch. Thank you. Alright everyone, it is time for Micro Machines. Everyone please give a warm welcome to our runners, Grestar, and our commentator, March. Thank you so much. Take it away, guys.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another 5. So I am Grestar and this is Micro Machines, and of course I am joined by my wonderful teacher and commentator March. If you'd like to introduce yourself, even though I already said your name.
Hey there everyone, my name is March, and like Riz said, I have subjected him to this game and taught him everything I know, and I am the world record holder for this game and also the only person who runs this particular category on this particular console, so yeah. pretty obscure game, but yeah.
Let's get this going and then you can tell them more about the category
Absolutely.
itself and the game in general if you'd like. So timer will begin. I assume we haven't started yet, but in like, I'll just give a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alrighty.
Alright, yeah, so take it away. Feel free to tell people how this category differs and everything.
Absolutely. So this is Micro Machines for the Sega Genesis from 1993. So this game was released originally for the NES, but then they also released it for the Amiga, the Game Gear, the Master System, the Genesis, the MS-DOS, CDI, the Super Nintendo, and the Game Boy, because they wanted it on every single platform. As you can see, the first race here, it's already done. It's just a little qualifier race to make sure that you know how to control the game. And that's important because this game, it's a top-down racer, and you pilot the game as though you're sitting in the car itself. So you press right, the car turns right, as if you were in it, and that throws some people off. And so that first round, it kind of gives you a little bit. Now you can see Riz is immediately going off the track here. The checkpoint system in this game is more of a suggestion. Like the route is, they wanted to have like kind of an open checkpoint game where you didn't have to stay on the course the whole time. But as you can see from a speedrunning perspective, we can abuse that. The checkpoints in this game, basically the entire course is lined with them. They're about the size of, like, if you look at the white and blue squares, like groups of 4 of those make up about 1 checkpoint, and they're always about that size on every level. They're just easier to see here. And so we're just barely clipping, just barely missed it. So he's just barely clipping this required one right there, and then coming in right.
But you saved
right
a little
below.
lower this time.
Just a little bit lower. Perfect. So that's one of the fun things about this game from a speedrunning point, is that there's a lot of checkpoints that we can corners we can cut. And then for this particular category, so this is the USC category, and that means that it's ultra shortcuts are allowed. And so Riz is going to be demonstrating them right here, and it's going to go straight, going to explode, and the lap counter just magically goes down. So I ran this game for a long time, and I I said many times that I think this game probably has ultra shortcuts, and I hope, oh no, just a little too far north. I was like, I think this game has ultra shortcuts in them. I swear one day we'll discover them. And sure enough, one day I was messing around, and what do you know? I saw that lap counter. I was like, what just happened? And spent the rest of the day just messing around with it.
Yeah. So how do you think the ultra shortcuts work? Because I don't think we have a firm understanding exactly, right?
So
just like a guess.
So I know how to describe them. I can't say exactly from like a code standpoint what's happening, but basically the way it works is that so there's this, basically, you know, all these tracks are one big loop, right? And every checkpoint you hit, there's a point that's on the opposite side of that loop, right? And I call that the antipode. It's like saying, like, if, you know, people talk about, you know, drill a hole through the earth, you end up in China, which you actually don't end up in the Indian Ocean, but from the US at least. That's the antipode, right? So the side away from you on the circle. So these antipode points, the game has code where if you're short on the antipode, it thinks you're trying to cut far ahead, and so it explodes your car. And if you're past that point, it thinks you've actually backtracked, and it adds to your lap. So yeah, we're just ripping through these levels super fast here. So
the shortcuts are quite helpful.
Yeah, they really kill a ton of time. And so what happens is that when you touch a checkpoint, so you leave the map like you just did, that keeps track of your antipode checkpoint. But then when you touch a obstacle that's on the road, the game doesn't want to respawn you on these obstacles. So some funniness happens, and it turns out that if you touch an obstacle checkpoint, leave the map, and then touch the antipode, for some reason it explodes your car, but also removes a lap from your counter. I really couldn't say why. It does happen in the NES version. It's kind of strange. Some versions it works, some versions it doesn't, even though they're all fairly simple. Fairly similar, I mean. But yeah, I know that's kind of a lot to try to explain, but long story short is we're basically cutting halfway across the map and exploding and getting the lap. And so when we were finding this, we were kind of trying to look at all the points in the map where the midway point is closest to each other, if that makes sense. Because like sometimes if you imagine a map has like an hourglass sort of shape, you can imagine that the part where like the hourglass pinches is where you really want to go halfway across the map, as opposed to like if you had to go all the way around. Some of these maps, the camera returning back to the car is actually the determining factor in how long it takes, because you have to sit there and wait for the camera to catch up.
Yeah, and you've said on different consoles that'll make some of them just like much faster because of the way like it'll wrap around the other side instead.
Yep, yeah, because this one it has to go. It won't like go. It won't like skip over. It won't wrap, is what I'm trying to say. But some of the platforms it will wrap, and then it's much faster. So this level, this is one of the first ones that has no ultra shortcut. This one really, all this one has is a few like very minor corners you can cut.
Which hopefully we'll see to some extent. They can be iffy for me, so we'll find out. Yeah,
coming off that card is always, it's hard to do that super fast. And then
and I've tried to like hang on the right wall there, and it does not seem to work out well.
Yeah, you can get caught on the wall.
Sometimes it'll work, but other times my car will just explode, so.
Yeah, for sure. And there's also, it's worth noting that there are lots of, so on this pool level, there's lots of these invisible kill boxes that we're kind of navigating through. And Riz is doing an excellent job of getting through there, avoiding the hidden kill boxes. And because you're not supposed to be able to drive, you're supposed to have to go into these pockets. So you're not supposed to be able to do this cut right here, but this saves a pretty good chunk of time. Yeah, especially these pool ones can be a real determining factor in how well this run goes, because you can cut time, and you can see there's a lot more racing in this than there is in the really short ones that we've done.
Yeah, this is much more how the game is intended to be played.
Yes. Exactly, for sure.
But I'm definitely glad to see that I don't know where the other racers are, and I think that's a good sign. Oh, hey, there's one.
Yeah. Yeah, the good news is that they usually hang back pretty far. Like the first lap they can be a little annoying, but
yeah,
after that, yeah, it's not too bad at all.
Yeah, so one thing that definitely took me time to learn is just every vehicle behaves, like performs so much differently. Some of them are way slippier, faster. Others have like far different acceleration times.
Do you have a favorite?
I mean, honestly, I actually think those might be my favorite because they seem pretty just responsive overall. The maps can be interesting because, again, I think the walls just like have a much farther like hitbox than they should, or things like that, and it slows you down. Yeah. But those are pretty responsive. Whereas like the sports car thing, oh my gosh, it just slides all over the place.
Oh, I love that. The sports car is definitely my favorite, actually. I love it.
It feels really good to play the tracks normally once you get the hang of it, but I was raging trying to learn those maps initially because I kept flying off the side of the desk.
Yeah, right. Yep. Yeah, I definitely, because it's really not made for you have to, as we'll see when we get to them, you have to make some pretty tight turns that you aren't normally supposed to have to make with those. So looks like my okay. My Discord capture's being a little annoying, but it's fine now. This is actually the level where I discovered this originally. I was just
this was the very first USC?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because you can see how close it is. I think I was going straight and I slid out on that oil slick and then like just kind of turned to the right and I was like, wait, what just happened? I had to like go back to the Twitch, the clip, and like, can someone clip that please? And go back and look at it. And yeah, I literally spent like the rest of that night and many nights just finding more of these. There is one other
huge discovery.
Oh yeah, it was like
I was gonna say, tell them about the bouncy thing.
Oh yeah. So the boats are a lot of fun too, actually, and these ones, they have a little piece of speed tech that I call the bubble railgun. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to squeeze in between this tube and the bubbles. Oh, perfect! And we get shot way off into the distance here. Again, you have to wait for the camera to catch up, and it's one of the things that slows it down because your car won't accelerate when you're off the screen.
Yeah.
But I think that one I actually found as a kid. I do remember getting through the bubbles, but I don't know if I remember getting actually shot like that. But I feel like it's kind of hard not to get shot by that if you go through. Yeah, you're doing great at those.
Yeah, all that I do for that is just as soon as I enter it, like I press left and then I hold right. I don't know if there's any better way, but
that's more or less what I do.
It just seems to fling you depending on how you're trying to turn. I feel it's interesting.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, so it's like I turn left and then straighten out, and then it shoots me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little left tap, straighten out, and then that was brilliant.
Yeah,
because
there is a timing to it, which definitely took me a while to realize.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll shoot you backwards, not with the same speed, thankfully, but. Yeah.
Yes, it will shoot you backwards, and that can absolutely, maybe not kill a run, but it can definitely make you unhappy. I think if people were really optimizing this game, that would definitely kill the run, but not quite to that level yet. Yeah, I did want to shout out also to there is one other active runner of this game, but MX and they run the NES and the Game Boy version, so we've never like directly competed, but they also helped me a lot kind of find a few USCs that I missed. And they kind of had to do some tweaking because some of them don't quite work the same on the NES version. And some things are a little bit better on the NES version. It's kind of weird, like these weird little minor details. Then we're on to the last. This is definitely the hardest of the bonus levels. These bonus levels can be really hard to optimize, and this is one of the harder ones. So he needs to come up here, touch that tile, because that's an obstacle tile, and then cut all the way over here. And then you need to make your way through this water. And if you touch this water, you'll sink and get respawned. And that was perfect. Wonderful.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, you're on a tear right now. This is a really good run.
Oh, thanks. There are plenty of spots where you could still mess up. For instance, I am not good at these hedge mazes.
Oh yeah,
levels.
these are my absolute least favorite. I think everyone's absolute least favorite. There's
really?
no
It's not just
tech.
me? Okay.
Yeah, there's no speed tech. The helicopter. So Mixed Site 10 told me this, and I kind of have to believe them that when they were developing this game, they gave the helicopters like the default handling with the idea that they would come back and change it later, but then they just like never did. And that's why the helicopters, they don't slide at all. They just accelerate perfectly. They stop perfectly. They're just boring to control.
That's interesting, at least. I didn't realize.
Yeah, and also the Game Boy version of this, the helicopters are a lot slidier and slower to accelerate and things like, so they're a lot more interesting to control. But yeah, here we just need to have 3 good laps. But yeah, you're ripping right through this too.
It's much easier once you get past all of your opponents, but there are some that I'll just end up getting trapped and I'll bounce between the hedges, you know. Like once you lose control there, I can have difficulty getting back in control. And that's frankly why I've like selected the opponents that I have up to this point. Oh, you should touch on that, the opponents.
Oh yeah, so at the start of the game it asks you who you want to play, and there is zero reason to play anyone but Spider, which is who we've chosen, because the only difference between them is their speed. Spider's the fastest, Walter's the slowest, and everyone is somewhere, you know, along that spectrum basically. So typically, what I do is I usually pick the fastest ones first. And then that way when the races start getting more complicated, you have the slower opponents. Another way, you can kind of save like some frames if you pick the middle people first and work your way out from that, but it's so minor. And I always find it a little annoying to have the faster guys, especially like you said for those helicopter races, like the later ones. But I did notice that you were picking them in a different order.
I wanted to get the absolute fastest out of the way first because of what you talked about, especially with the helicopter one. That last helicopter, I've lost on that, like not even second place kind of thing. So I wanted the fastest people out of the way. But then I guess I was kind of hoping that with other later parts, I would still have some semi-fast people, so they might actually get ahead of me. And then I won't be interrupted when like setting up the UI.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So does it work out? I'm not going to say yes, but that's at least that was at least the intention that I had with, you know, picking who I did when I did.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm also still determined that there's speed tech to be found in these water levels, just because. So this one doesn't have a bubble railgun, doesn't really have any speed tech. The bubbles, sometimes you hit a bubble just right and it kind of sends you flying. And there's also like, if you go into the bubbles, sometimes there's weird physics about that, and I have spent hours trying to like find something that you could really abuse to actually like gain notable amounts of speed. But and Mixed Site 10 has told me that they've had it where they're about to fall into the drain because it has like a whirlpool sort of mechanic, and then another AI hit them and they went flying.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but oh man, that drain is so dangerous because you lose so much time.
And that's why I take the bottom route. The top just seems a lot closer to me.
Yeah. The top route is basically pixel perfect, I think, which isn't that crazy in this game. But it's still, if you're not quite perfectly lined up, it can grab you, and you have to wait not only for it to pull you backwards, but also for you to go down the drain, and also for you to respawn. Whenever you respawn, you accelerate slower than if you just like bonk into something. It's kind of strange.
How do you feel about the tanks?
Tanks are all right, I think. I don't know. I don't like getting caught by stray bullets from the other tanks.
Yeah. Which is what makes these vehicles a little unique. We can shoot, you can see right here. And yeah, if it hits someone, they will respawn.
And that the AI just constantly shoot. So it's worse in the non-USC version. I can't call it glitchless because it does still have some glitches, but the non-USC version, the you can catch a stray bullet. And actually, the third one of these. So every car type has 3 races.
Except the sports car, right?
Yeah, except for the sports car, and technically the boats too, with the
with the qualifier.
Boat. Yeah, which doesn't really count, but
yeah.
But the third tank level during the USC, there's a couple spots where you can get caught by random bullets, and that one is a nail biter because you're kind of deep into the middle of the level and you don't have anywhere to run. So it's
yes, and they'll come out of nowhere. The bullets. I won't even realize the other vehicles are there yet.
Yeah, you can't even see them. It's also kind of funny because the NES version, the tanks are a lot faster, and they don't really feel like tanks at all in the NES version. But I do like that they made the tanks handle a little bit differently. Oh, that's so annoying when that happens.
Yeah, everyone's trying to squeeze through
traffic
that
jam
narrow gap.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent on this level looking for like ultra shortcuts or glitches or anything. But
understandable, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the level, but I swear there's something to be found here still. But the problem is that, so with the whole antipode thing, so you see how we're up on these rails right now. Basically, the antipode, whenever you're on a rail, is always on the main course, and when you're on the main course, the antipode is always on the rail. And there's no way to get between the main course and the rail except for these cards. So there's just nothing I've ever been able to find with it. But it's okay. At least it's okay because there's still fun races to drive, and the third one's got a USC, and it's even wilder in the non-USC version. I don't know if you've ever seen that, or is.
No.
Yeah,
I've played it, but I haven't seen it done by like a speedrunner.
Yeah, no, there's a weird glitch that me and Mick Saitan kind of worked together to discover, and it's kind of a set of 2 different glitches. It's really strange looking, but unfortunately with this run we just do the regular USC, and it's also strange looking to explode and get a lap, but it's even weirder in the non-USC version. So how have you been enjoying this, learning this so far?
Learning it was a challenge. Again, with all the different ways that the vehicles handle themselves, with the maps. I mean, as people have noticed, like they're the same recycled locations and everything. Actually memorizing the track layout was really difficult because, they use the same assets, so I just end up getting like one confused for another. But once you like start to learn it, then it becomes really fun to just like tear through. And I'm not saying that I'm like anywhere at that level, but like I mentioned with the sports car, those levels were always like the most frustrating for me because again, you're just flying everywhere, you're skidding around. But once you know a little bit better about like, where to let off the accelerator or that kind of thing, became much more fun. So I definitely see, why people enjoy this game. Super cool. All right, and hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, this is one of the hardest, if not the hardest, of the bunch. Oh, yeah, I think you're good.
We're gonna hope I'm good.
Yeah, almost might have clipped the checkpoint over there.
Yeah.
I don't think you did though. I think
we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out here in 2 seconds. Yeah, you gotta be real careful.
Hey.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Wonderful. Yeah, I think it would have exploded you if you'd actually clipped that, but sometimes I'm not sure. Like, it's a little ambiguous. So the checkpoints, so when you're looking at the track here, the checkpoints are larger than the track tiles. So sometimes, especially in the turns, because they're just stacks of those big squares, right? So it's really easy around the turns to accidentally tag a track piece and tag a checkpoint you didn't mean to tag, and especially on a level like this that can be run ending. But this is going very, very well.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it.
This level's a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I don't want to jinx it. There's a lot of game to happen still for sure. But this is maybe my favorite level in the non-USC. This has some interesting slidey tech.
And just never knowing if like an opponent's coming up behind me when I'm doing those.
Yeah, and I tell you, no pressure or anything, but if you like the USC version, I definitely recommend. I just didn't want to subject someone to the longer, because the longer one, there's more memorization, there's more track. There's more. It's just a longer run, so I didn't want to subject you to the full one. But you know, if you're enjoying this, I recommend checking that out sometime too. Although I don't know if enjoy is quite the right word.
It's a give and take kind of thing, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, people come up behind you, I'm just reading the chat a little bit, in these races all the time and just completely knock you out.
So you can see how Riz had to go and touch that one particular obstacle. You can't just go straight to the corner because he needs to touch that obstacle to kind of offset whatever's going on to create that glitched antipode checkpoint.
Yeah, and sometimes I do end up going over a little bit more if, you know, sometimes just to be sure, other times because like it's hard to like reverse when you're just bouncing on these. It takes away all your control.
Yeah, I can imagine if someone like really optimized this, they could clip that obstacle tile full speed. But my God, that would be A, really hard, and B, like, you know, if you go a little too far, you cut it a little too close on either side, it ruins the glitch.
Well, that's the thing. With a lot of these, I've tried to figure out how, like the minimum basically that I could do, and then see if there was. See, just bouncing around. I hate that. Yeah. And then see if there's a way that I could pull that sort of thing off. But way more often than not, I would just end up like missing the. Oh God.
Oh no. Yeah.
That happens way too often. I'll just see an opening and my brain will take it.
Yeah. No, I know all about that.
But yeah, point is like I'll miss the checkpoints or I'll end up sliding off of a table or something, and it always just ends up taking more time than it would. I mean, if I'd done it right, it would have saved time, obviously. But yeah.
Right. And then something else important to mention is that like if you overshoot these, I think you get a lap added. If you're ever doing a USC and you overshoot the antipode, you get a lap added, so you have to do a whole extra lap. So that's definitely run killing. So you want to usually push the limit, but like if you go over, it's better to go under because then you usually just explode and you can just try it again. But if you go over, it's like run is completely dead at that point. But
yeah, really sad. Each race you start with 3 laps that you need, and then like you said, a 4th one will appear, so you'll have to finish that lap and then do 3 more.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to cut you off.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was just gonna say this is probably a good time for some donations. This one's kind of a long,
so if you have anything to read. Donations.
Hi, yeah, sorry about that. Yes, so we actually got a $15 donation from Momo saying, gotta go fast. Thank you, Momo.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, Momo.
Thank you, Momo.
One of my favorite parts of this game is the music. Every time.
It still blows me away that there's no music during the races at all in this game.
It was fun during, not, you know, peek behind the curtain, right? During the, like, audio check for this game, because I was like, go to a spot with audio, huh? How about the intro? Like, that's just the title screen, and that's basically it.
Yeah,
you get the little jingle between, but,
I do like the little jingle, but yeah,
just the hum of the engines.
when I stream this game, I always I record the audio locally, but then I just play music. I don't even stream the audio. I just stream music and just record it all locally. So I don't even want to hear it. Yeah. 'Cause it will put you to sleep.
Yeah, just that gentle hum.
So that was the hardest of the helicopter levels, which is funny because the was not the last one. Yeah, these a little overshot. This one, at least this one's an easier one where all you have to do is the oil slick makes it easy to overshoot like that.
The oil is once you slick in oil, you have no control until it like wears off.
Yeah, so these cars kind of they're a little sluggish. The acceleration is kind of slow, and they have those little spikes on the front, and they toned it down in the Genesis version. But basically, like in a lot of the other versions, including the NES version, like if you touch another car, you both explode.
Yeah.
This
so
one
it can
like
still happen
you are
here,
more
but
likely.
It requires some speed.
Yeah. This one you have to have some speed. The collision has to be pretty hard. But you can explode other cars in a collision like that in that level, which is really annoying if you're someone kind of sneaks up behind you. One thing that I appreciate about this game from a speedrunner perspective, I don't know if I actually ever covered this with you, Riz, but all the menuing, you can buffer the inputs. So like,
I did not know that.
yeah. So if you just like hold the start button down and like hold right and start, and then just like release right when the icon gets to where you're trying to go, you'll get a frame perfect menuing every time. So it's a nice way that you don't have to mash through the menus or like do any crazy stuff for the menus. Just hold down start and
that's neat.
And select your eraser. Yep.
Cool. Well, in the future, I might try to incorporate that.
Yeah, it might save you a couple seconds throughout the course of the run, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mostly just like that you don't have to like mash or like any, you know, it's just like nice, easy on the tendons. Just hold the buttons down.
Yeah.
Good.
So, like, at what point would you have to start holding down to do the buffer?
Just after the race ends. So if you hold down start after you finish, the map won't finish, which is annoying. Like you'll just sit there at the finish line until you let go of start.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so don't do that. So after the fade out, you can just hold down start and right and select your eraser, which is it's kind of funny.
Okay, you know, just go ahead of me. Yeah.
So Grand Canyons, this is a level that is unique to the Genesis version, and I think maybe one other version. For some reason, so the very last level, which is like the championship level, in all the other versions, you just race that twice. So you would race the championship level now, and then again at the end of the game. Oh. And for the very nice.
Thank you.
For the Genesis version, they actually added another map. So what's annoying is that I don't. When I was looking for maps of this game, all I could ever find were NES and Master System. So I had to like draw my own map for this level to remember what to do. Yeah.
When you sent me that information over, I was like, okay, interesting choice.
Yep. That's why. I had to just manually kind of map it out so I can remember the routes.
Well, then I appreciate your effort all the more.
No problem. Yeah, no, I mean, I had to do it for myself. I keep all, for both categories, I just have to keep all my routes written down, because like if you leave it for a while and come back, it's like, what was I doing again?
Yeah.
As you can see, this one's pretty. I
always get pushed
difficult.
off by other vehicles that corner, and I hope that wasn't like too far down.
I think you're good. It looked good to me. So you can see how we have to jump across here, but you have to make sure again to not touch any of the track. And also, if you're too far to the right there, you'll bounce off that pencil and
when you make
fall.
The jump.
Mm-hmm. You'll make the jump, hit that pencil, and immediately ricochet off into the canyon, into the pit there. So it's doing this very, very nicely. Are you running splits right now, by the way?
No, but it seems this is the smoothest it's felt to me so far, so fingers crossed.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah. I didn't want the pressure of it, so I didn't decide to run them, but now I'm curious.
Gotcha. No, this is going very, very nicely.
No, it's slowed down.
No, you're doing the railgun on this one too, right?
Honestly, probably not. We'll see where it spits me out.
Fair.
But
this one is it's such a minor time save.
Yeah, that's.
Oh boy.
And I have a much harder time lining it up than the other one.
Yeah.
So I usually just try to.
And
if I make it through, cool. I make it through, kind of thing.
It's a different. The inputs are slightly different too. Like you don't straighten out for this one. It's really odd.
Oh, maybe that's why I've only gotten like really piddly launches, because I was just trying the same way I did the other.
Yeah, I think so. Basically, like you tap left, but then you don't straighten out, and you get a slightly more speed, but it's still not nearly as good. Oh my goodness! Oh no!
Boo. Okay.
Oh, those boats.
Well,
okay.
you know, I got blue to do the same thing.
You got blue.
So
yeah.
it's
perfect. Yeah, and also I'm pretty sure the railgun on the last lap doesn't save you any time at all, because
really?
the finish is like because the finish is like right there, and it does slow you down a little bit before you shoot off. So I think it literally saves no time because the finish is right there. Yeah. But sometimes I do it anyways just because it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this one you have the least amount of time to line up for that the whirlpool. That's why that one's a little harder. You can see kind of ricochet off the bottom, and
yeah.
Still very nice though.
Yeah, I mean, if that's gonna be the biggest mistake of this run, I'll gladly take it.
then we have the last helicopter run. And it's funny because not only is this easier than the second one by far, they also made this even easier still for the Genesis version.
You're gonna make me feel bad if I lose.
Well, no, I mean, I'm sure you'll do great. But I don't know if you notice how I have one of the air conditioners crossed off.
Yeah, I did notice
for this. Yeah, because all the other versions they have a second air conditioner that blows you around like that, and they just took it out for the Genesis version. This is the main obstacle here. Is you have to count to 6, and yeah, we're good.
Yeah, that one's not too bad, thankfully.
Yeah, this one's basically.
I mean, now that I say that, knock on wood, but
this will be another great time for any announcements, or if our host wants to read anything. I believe we had a host change, right?
We did in fact have a host change. What's good, Speedromizer community? It is me, DJ Fatso, and I will be your final host of the evening. We have a couple of donations that came in. We have a $10 donation. I don't know if this is right. $10 donation from Mel. It says, "I love being tiny and kin." And then we have a $15 donation from our previous, or I'm assuming our previous host, I could be wrong, from Momo. It just says, "Gotta go fast," and that was for $15 Canadian. We are currently sitting at $1,220 with a new goal to hit $1,500 by the end of nights.
Heck yeah,
awesome.
Let's do it.
And we're on the final lap here, so almost finished. Huzzah!
Let's go. Yeah, so now we're on to the final. Yeah, we're ripping right through this. We're on a great pace. We're on to the final F1 race. This one's tricky because you do have to go off course, and it's really easy to get lost. Kind of what Riz was talking about earlier with the repeated, assets. It's like, you have to remember the configuration of the balls. Like I look at these blue balls and kind of slalom between them.
Yeah. And usually I'm okay with this one, but earlier today when I was doing my practice run, I completely missed it, and I didn't. And then I went back here to try to reset, and then that didn't work. So I was sweating.
I don't know if you tagged the obstacle. No.
This time?
I hope you did. Yeah, you got it.
All right, good.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, cool.
Isn't it just moving this ball?
Yeah, I usually go through it, but I think your way might actually be better because it's easy to overshoot if you go through it. You also have to be real careful about that corner there.
Yeah.
But no, that was wonderful. Very nice. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've only got two more to go.
2 more to go, and they each have their ultra shortcuts, so fingers crossed that I'll be able to do them correctly.
Absolutely.
This is the trickiest one, I think, for the tanks.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is the one where you really. Oh no, I was about to say this is the one where you have to really worry about the random bullets and.
Yeah. But even up here, we're not out of the woods yet, Oh
no, you have
goodness.
to be very
so the
careful.
tank turns much faster when you're not moving.
Yes.
And so I'll be just tapping the accelerator and then a direction to try to change my angle slightly. But depending on how slowed I am, I can really overcorrect.
Yeah, being fast with the tanks is pretty difficult, and this one is especially annoying because you have to get through all this crud in the middle of the course here, but you really can't tag either side of here, but especially above. If you tag above, you'll get that extra lap that we were talking about, and then you really hate life because these tanks are so slow.
Yeah, I've tried not going between all of these obstacles here, and it just was not working for me.
No, yeah. And yeah, one of the things if you get an extra lap in the tank levels, especially in the non-USC version, sometimes you can't win the race anymore. And in a marathon setting, that's that's the ultra nightmare. That's because you can't win there. That's 5 minutes lost, as you wait for the race to finish and then do the whole thing again. But that was excellent. And now we are on to the very last map. So yeah, there was a little bit of new routing with this one where we go backwards, but that's still kind of up in the air a little bit. My world record does not use it, I did start messing around with it recently. I was kind of derusting, so I make sure to remember everything for this run.
Please, okay.
The nice thing though about it is that you don't have to do this, which is cross this darn ruler.
Oh, really? Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've updated my map. I'll have to remember to send it to you. But it is a little bit easier. And the nice thing about it, so even though you go backwards, you end up, you get the extra lap, but then because you're not too far behind the finish line for the last lap, you just go forward across the finish line.
Oh, really interesting.
Yeah, Mixed Saitan discovered that one, and I only recently, which is to say like Friday, I was messing around with it.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is still going very nicely.
Well,
Alright.
just one more to go, and
Yep.
like time when I explode next, right?
Yep,
Assuming I do
time
it
will
correctly.
be on the next explosion, which is coming up.
I'm gonna try not
Yeah,
shoot
I gotta
myself
say,
off the
I am-
edge.
I am super impressed with
Hopefully that didn't. Thank you.
with all this. This is a lot to learn, you know.
I did my best.
And
Time.
Alrighty.
So,
That was
if I may
very
ask,
good.
what was the time?
Yeah, I'm looking on the stream right now. Not sure what the 38:39 or 38:29, excuse me.
All right. Well, my best before was 40 minutes. So
Let's
that's
go,
a PB for me.
Go, PB,
Heck yeah.
let's go.
The world record's only 34, so and I'm telling you, if you want to grind for that world record, like you could get it pretty darn quick, especially if you use that new route.
I mean, I'll look into that new route, but I don't know, man. You're pretty good. Yeah, definitely. For those watching, if you enjoyed seeing this, please do check out March. Like, he's super good at this game, and he seems like a super chill dude. So, go check out his Twitch, support him, all that good stuff.
And if you enjoy Riz, make sure to pester him to start streaming more, because he's a cool, chill guy too.
Thank you.
And you run what other games do you run?
What do I run consistently? Like, basically nothing. I dabble. Currently, I'm challenging myself to basically earn every role in the Anime Speedruns Discord server by speedrunning at least one game from that anime. So usually, like, I'll pick something up, I'll learn it, I'll put it up on the board, and then I'll move on.
Nice. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, my most consistent game is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I've put a lot of work into that as far as routing and, just trying to find the best way to do any % new game, but yeah. So yes, if you want to see more of my stuff too, just Google my name, you'll find me. But Speedromizer, thank you so much for having me. This is a lot of fun.
It's a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you so much.